And first order of business is to consider the approval of minutes from October the 18th. Do I hear a motion?
I have one correction. On the page 3 of 3, the very last case,
Yeah.
the motion where it says, with the condition that it will be demoed and removed, add in by the property owner within 60 days.
Yeah.
Where was that, page 3 of 3?
Page 3 of 3, the very last motion, right before adjourn. The condition that it will be demoed and removed, add in by the property owner.
Any other corrections or little edits like that? Okay, so with that change, do I hear a well, I guess we can just go ahead and vote.
I move to approve
Yeah.
as corrected.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. None opposed. Do you want to print them up again and I'll sign them?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, so now we're ready for the public hearing. First of all, it's case number V 2018-006. Is Dr. Bowles here? No, there you are. Good to see you. Jeremy, do you want to?
Yep. Applicant Dr. Dylan Bowles is requesting a variance from section 154.11 parking space for vehicles in order to utilize off-site parking in B1 Neighborhood Business District Zone located at 201 River North Boulevard, being lot 29, block 16 of River North Addition, River North 2 Addition to City of Stephenville. Staff has no objections to the variance from 154.11 parking spaces for vehicles in order to utilize off-site parking. There are other properties in the area that utilize the off-site parking, and when we're talking about off-site parking, I believe he wants, see if my clicker is gonna work. He wants to do some create, well, let's see. All right. So from here, this is the property site. See if we get a closer look. It's not a very good closer look, but from on Moonlight Trail, they want to basically be able to do some pull-in parking off Moonlight Trail. Our zoning ordinance does not allow that unless they get a variance for it, and so that's what they're asking for. They don't intend to park on street, but because of the way it's worded in our zoning ordinance, it would require a variance. So if you see right here is Moonlight Trail at the bottom, and I would use my clicker, but you wouldn't be able to see it on the screen. But they plan on using, this might be better. So come off Moonlight Trail, be able to park straight in off that, so they won't be on.
It's the back of the building.
So they're gonna add, right, currently there's concrete here, or pavement here. They're gonna add additional pavement and then do some straight-in parking there. So that's what we're looking at. That's the variance request, is to be able to do straight-in parking from the road.
And from my understanding of the materials presented to us, the city doesn't have any objection to this?
No, I mean, it's neighborhood business, trade services typically, it'll meet all the parking regulations. I think it's 10 spots for one doctor, so it'll meet that requirement as long as this variance is approved.
Dr. Bowles, if you'd like to come on up and. Do you want to make a case?
Basically,
If you'd
you know,
introduce yourself and then.
I'm Dr. Bowles, Dylan Bowles, oral and maxillofacial surgeon here in Stephenville, and right now we don't have very much parking, and we're trying to make it easier for our patients to access care. And so we're asking for patients not to park on the street, and actually we're planning to build parking for them. So that's kind of what we're asking the variance for.
Very good. Any questions for Dr. Bowles?
That's where like that grassy area is right now?
Correct. Yeah, right now we have patients actually parking on the street. So this would allow them to get off the street and actually pull in.
It's just gonna be, currently across the street off of River North, there's another clinic right across the street, or there's other office spaces.
They have the
where they just
exact
pull
same,
right into it. It's
correct.
gonna be the same type.
Same thing, yeah. Same thing, all my neighbors have the same thing, basically.
All right. thank you. Are there any members from the community who would like to address this request for a variance? Okay, well then we'll close the public hearing part
You
of.
do have a letter too.
Oh, you showed us the end. Let's see.
Just the note at the
Just
bottom.
this note, okay. It's too busy for people to park there, especially since it's next to the children's daycare. So at the moment, she's saying, you are the owner, let's see. Oh, so Mrs. Perry is saying that she thinks River North is too busy for people to park there, especially since it's next to the children's daycare. So is this person saying they
So-
wouldn't want people to cross the road, or?
So I talked to her, I tried to clear, to see what her comment
Yeah.
was, because people won't be parking on River North.
Right,
And I wanted to clarify that people weren't gonna be parking on Moonlight Trail either. And, I did have a lengthy conversation with her, and had her understand that it wasn't gonna be off of River North first of all,
right.
which relieved some of her stress about it. But she did, wanna point out that intersection is very busy, and that so if people are gonna be backing onto to Moonlight Trail, that there was a concern for safety, but she said she would leave that up to those particular people. But the one concern she has, she didn't want people parking in front of her house, and if she lives on the, I'll point it out here, she lives right at 522, so this house right here. So she wanted to keep people from parking, and she wanted to make sure that people weren't gonna be parking on Moonlight Trail in front of her house.
Right.
And so I tried to explain to her that this would actually help her and keep people off of the street. And so I think she felt better, but she really wanted to make sure her point was that A, it was a busy intersection, and two, she wanted to keep people off the street. So,
All right, thank you very much. Well, seeing that no other people have signed up to talk from the community, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on this aspect of this, for this case. And do I hear a motion regarding case number V 2018-006?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve case number V2018-006 as presented.
Second. I hear a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. None opposed. All right. All right, we'll move along now to case number 2018-007. Jeremy?
is the applicant here for, I'm not very good with how to pronounce the name, Rita Barechi?
Paresh?
Barechi? Okay.
Is that,
I believe Robert, didn't he call and said somebody was gonna speak in his behalf?
so we have,
Okay.
so you're his proxy then?
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Okay, the applicant is requesting a variance from section 15405-5, which is 5.5D, in B2, 1 and 2 family residential district, to construct a duplex at 904 East Lewis, being lot 13, block 76 of the city of Stephenville edition. The applicant, there's two parts to this request. Applicant is requesting a 3-foot variance from the 100-foot minimum lot depth requirement. And B, the applicant is requesting a 5-foot variance from the 25-foot minimum rear setback to construct a duplex within 20 feet of the rear property. And as you'll see from this particular, you'll see it's a very odd-shaped lot as it is. And so it is 1 and 2 family. The future land use calls for it to be single family. This is the lot. So if you're looking, we'll say north and south here, that's 97 feet and they need 100 feet. So that's the 3-foot variance. The other part on the back side is it's a 25-foot setback. They're going to meet 20 feet. And so they're asking for a 5-foot variance on the back side of it. And if you'll see here, there's nothing currently on the back side of that. There is a dedicated road that bends around that property that's not built. But there's no property on the back side of it. So from the 25-foot variance, staff does not see an issue with that. I can answer any questions. The property is served by water and sewer. I do believe the applicant is going to build a duplex, but I'll let the applicant talk about maybe his plans, and maybe that'll help you with your decision.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Jeff Dahl is here as a proxy for Mr. Baresh. Is it Baresh? Barish? If you'd come up here and just introduce yourself and then make his case for us, please.
Hello, my name is Jeff Dahl. So yes, the current plan would be a duplex, and like he kind of described, it is a somewhat odd shape, so the back there's not quite enough to meet the typical land size. He used to own the lot next to it. He sold that house off, so he kind of ended up with this here. So without any variance, for sure without the variance of giving it the 3 foot for the total 100-foot depth, it's kind of a not much use piece of property, you know what I mean? So I believe right behind it that road, or is it to the left of it there?
It's hard to see it from this picture, but the road it goes from this road. The dedicated right of way is
Okay.
from Lewis, and then it would actually come back to this road here. So the dedicated right of way comes through here.
Yeah. So that's kind of it. It's it's short by a few feet. So if we could just get the variance in the back, would be helpful.
Very good.
Any
Any
other
questions for Mr. Dahl? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think you guys have those pictures in your packet.
Yeah.
I think, and that might help get a better view of them.
Are there any other folks from the community who want to speak to this request? All right, well, I'll close the public hearing now, and if I hear a motion from the board.
I move to approve case V 2018-007.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank
And
you,
that's
Devin.
both variances? You're good with
Yes.
both variances? Okay.
Any discussion? All right, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No no's, so it's approved. If you pass that along for us. Appreciate that. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, so as the Board of Adjustment, we have one more case to hear today. Case number V 2018-008. And is Dana Horbeck here, please? Okay. If you'd be ready, Jeremy's going to introduce this case to us.
Okay. Applicant Dana Hornbeck is requesting a 10-foot variance from the 25-foot side yard setback requirements on a corner lot in order to construct a single-family residence within 15 feet of the side property line in an R3 multifamily residential zone district located at 1051 West Elm, in Lot 15, Block 4 of the Fry, Second Edition, City of Stephenville. This is an unusual situation in that we've already heard this case once, but because of there was an expiration on this case of 90 days if it's not acted upon, and that's where we are with this situation. So you'll see that the whole thing, the yellow and the red, is the 25-yard setback. You take away the 10 feet, that's what they're asking for from the corner lot. They will still have to meet the visibility triangle, so staff doesn't see a major issues with it. It was unanimously approved prior.
Yeah.
And I can entertain any questions, and Ms. Hornbeck can probably entertain any questions as well.
Thank you very much. And as you said, there's really no objection from the city. This was a pre-approved request. It's just a matter of the expiration, so it's a technicality that we need to reapprove it.
That's right.
Or not.
That's right.
All right, very, very good. Ms. Hornbeck, if you want to come up and just please state your name and then let us hear what you have to say.
My name's Dana Hornbeck, and I was just trying to build a house that, on a very narrow lot, I needed more variance.
What's your timeline?
as soon as I can. I wanted to start it.
Okay. Because as you know, we did, I don't remember exactly how long ago it was, but we did approve this once, so.
It says June 2017.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
I
yeah,
did
I
have
was
a date.
around.
Did I? Good for me.
Ah,
Yeah, the
okay, that
previous
makes more
owner
sense.
did it.
Okay, that makes sense, okay. So you're gonna act on it,
Yes.
okay. Any other questions or any comments? That's helpful, appreciate that. All right, well, thank you very
Thank
much. All right, any other people from the community who would like to speak to this request? Okay, very good. Well, then we'll close the public hearing and go ahead and, do I hear a motion regarding case number V 2018-008?
I move to approve case number V 2018-008.
Thank you, Devin. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Stephen. Any discussion among the board? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Thank you very much. You're welcome. Okay. All right, so now we will adjourn the Board of Adjustment proceedings and call to order the Building and Standards Commission public hearing. So we'll hear public hearing case number BSC-2018-002. And Jeremy, if you'd present this to us.
Yeah, 1206 Cage, Block 24, Lot 3A of the South Side Addition. Mr. Kirk Garrison is the owner. I believe he is here. Consider an order declaring a possible dangerous building as defined in Chapter 151 of the City of Stephenville Code of Ordinances, owned by Mr. Kirk Garrison, located at 1206 Cage, being Lot 3A, Block 24 of the South Side Addition, the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. And then the consideration of orders to issue the Board of Adjustment. A visual inspection was conducted at 1206 Cage, being Lot 3A, W50, Block 24, the South Side Addition to the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, on September 10th, 2018. The owner of record is Kirk Garrison, and his last known address is 555 Dublin Street, Stephenville, Texas. The inspection search was conducted by view from the right-of-way due to the structure being occupied. The inspection team included Robert Turk and myself. The inspection team found violations of the City of Stephenville Code of Ordinances, specifically violations of the city's building code, plumbing code, and dangerous building and structures ordinance. And we have a list of these: the building code, broken windows, doors causing problem, further damage to interior of the structure; the plumbing code, the structure is being occupied without having water and sewer service since February; inadequate sanitation facilities causing structures to be unfit for human habitation, which constitutes a public nuisance. And the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 93, Section 93.03, injurious, offensive buildings and premises. You have the inventory. You have some pictures. I did put them on the slideshow, so if you take a look at them. It's kind of hard to see, but there's quite a bit of debris up front. I will say that Mr. Garrison has worked in the last week, 2 weeks, to try to clean it up. But we still have some concerns without the water and sewer and a couple of the other items that were listed there. And I don't know if you guys have had a chance to go over and look at it, but I can entertain any questions from the staff side, and I think Mr. Garrison is here and he can answer any questions on his side. But the recommendation is to, I believe that was on there. Let me make sure I got the full recommendation. Staff recommends in order to vacate, secure, and repair or demo. Repairs should be done within 30 days prior to the agreed upon time by the board. And so after, when the property is vacated, staff will do an inspection of the building. We will come up with a checklist for Mr. Garrison to meet before we allow that building to be occupied again.
Okay. So today we're considering an order declaring a possible dangerous building. And so are we being asked to decide whether it is a possible dangerous building, or are we supposed to make a recommendation to vacate, secure, repair, or demo? Like,
You would be ordering that the property be vacated, secured, and then repaired
Or
or demoed.
demolished,
So
okay.
that would be the owner's choice, but it must be brought back up to code.
right,
So he can decide if it may be cheaper for him to demo it than it would be to repair it.
Okay.
That's not, you're giving him that option.
okay.
The option you're not giving is it need to be vacated, and secured.
And then if it is going to be repaired or demolished, it needs to be done within 30 days,
Well, you can put,
or an agreed upon time.
right,
Okay. Well, then,
if he can't meet the 30 days and he's doing, work, he can come back to you and
Ask
tell
for an
you
extension
and
or-
ask for extension. I think it allows for 60 days, ultimately, but, it does have to be done in a reasonable amount of time, agreed upon time.
well, before we proceed, Mr. Garrison, you're here. Why don't we have you come up, introduce yourself, and then speak to this case?
My name is Kurt Garrison, and yeah, I'm embarrassed by those pictures, but I mean, it was kind of out of my control as far as, the guy that lived there. He was I don't know if he was just a thief or a professional dumpster diver, but that was that's what he called himself, professional dumpster diver, and it turned it into a dump. Then he had a restraining order on me, so I couldn't. I tried to run him off, went through the eviction process. He ended up stabbing another guy that had a house that looked just like that I got him evicted, and then he moves in with him, and then they got in a knife fight, and he stabbed him in the face, and then he leaves town. So then I had squatters in there, and then squatters had to go through that process. It was kind of, my hands are tied, as far as getting over there. But it's clean now. You go look at it right now. It's clean. The inside, they came back, and I set bombs off in there, and they hadn't been back since then. Not bombs, but bug bombs. Let me clarify that. So, and they changed locks, and they kicked the door down, the back door down, and then they stole all the appliances and the water heaters, and the air conditioners. That was after I got rid of them the last time. So, but as far as what it takes to get up to code, what are we looking at there?
Well, it still need to be, need to get water and sewer. Nobody can be living there
Well,
without that.
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
So we would just, if you feel like it's ready, we'd do an inspection and then report back that, that it is occupiable, and you can take somebody back. So it wouldn't take much. We just make sure that our building official would go and inspect that building and make sure it's brought up.
Yes, sir. As far as water is concerned, it has water and sewer, of course, but that's up to the renter to have the water turned on. The squatters are in there; they're not going to have it turned on, and I did all I could do as far as going through the eviction process to get rid of them.
So is it vacated now, or
It's
is it
vacated.
still there?
Yeah. So it's vacated.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it secured?
Well,
I
I thought it was, but they kicked the back door down, and they stole
Yeah.
the water heater and appliances. So
But those have all been reported to the police and all that. there's,
that's a whole other story. But that particular house, no. But the one they were in before, yes. I just found that out last week, and I hadn't gone to the police. No, sir.
okay. Are you thinking along the lines, though, of keeping it up as opposed to demolishing it?
Yes, sir. It doesn't produce any income without renters in there, and low rent people have low rent wage. So that house, believe it or not, was totally remodeled. Really nice on the inside. It looks, you can't really see it for all the trash there, but it was on the inside. It was all new laminate floors, all new paint, appliances, tile countertops. It was nice, but we'll get it back to that. But I just soon, it doesn't really matter to me. I was planning on the zoning there. the reason I bought that back when is just kinda, is for the zoning, you know, it's multifamily zoning there. And I was just gonna let it kinda carry its own weight until I got to that project, but, you know, I needed that actual lot, I don't know, we talked about that the other day, I guess, as far as the size, it seems like it needed, although the zoning's there, I don't believe the frontage, I think we need, what, 75 feet in frontage for a duplex or quadplex, and I think that one's 50 feet or something. So I need, but all the lots all the way around it, you know, they've always got grass this tall, and there's a bunch of vacant lots there. I don't know, you know, I'm gonna try to contact the owners of those, cause I don't know if it's on the tax rolls or what, but, I mean, for 2 years, it's had grass over my head.
So do you know what the conditions like inside? I mean, I know you said that they've taken some of the.
Well, you need a tetanus shot to walk in there the last time I was in there, but we did get it, had a scoop shovel and front end loader, and we just took it all down. We ripped the carpets out, and we set bug bombs off, so, I mean, it's by no means sanitary at this point, but
So, I mean, I would
there's a
say-
crew over there right now as we speak.
I'll say, I saw him working today, I mean, it looks a lot better, a lot better than it did, but, okay. How long would you think, I mean, on things like to fix broken windows, broken doors, things like that, I mean, just from the outside, how many days do you think it would take to repair?
Just
And-
broken windows and broken doors, or what?
Well, I mean, whatever it looks like is obvious that needs to be repaired based on city ordinances and codes.
You know, it just kinda depends on what you run into, but as far as, once you get to it, I'm gonna say, you know, a week should be plenty, but I don't wanna cut myself short if you're asking me that question for a set of timeline. But I mean, we're in the process of getting it rentable again.
Do you have an issue with the city coming in and looking at what?
I don't have an issue at all, no, sir. I mean, I wanna be in compliance, I don't have any problem there, but I just, you know, if it's not, I just don't want it to be, I don't know, whenever you're talking about up to code, you know, I mean, that property's grandfathered in as it is, as far as like, I guess you'd say, you know, you couldn't put a trailer house with an add-on around all those brick houses there, and you know, but we always, like, you know, the reason I bought it is because it was the ugliest house in a nice neighborhood, you know, there's more margin there, more room for upswing, but, you know, but it was cute at once upon a time, you know, I can get it back there.
So 30 days is certainly something doable as
Yes, sir.
opposed to 10 or a week.
Yes, sir.
And so, so it would be fair to say that we could ask you to secure it, repair in as much as possible, and then repair it within 30 days to get it within the code compliance that the city is saying for this grandfathered piece of property.
Right, we'd give him a checklist, that way he'd come to us if he knocked one of those off the list, so he would have a full list of what he needed to do to bring it into compliance. So we would do an inspection of that property if it was vacated.
And as far as the inspection goes, I mean, are we talking, I mean, like changing electrical or,
Is the electrical out of compliance?
well, I mean, I don't know, I guess that, I wouldn't think, I mean, meter, I mean, it's been updated a few years back, but, and we hadn't any problem with it, but I mean, I'm sure if you were to go build a new construction, it wouldn't be, I don't know if you are gonna set me to those standards, or, you know, whatever what's the grandfather, I mean, to be grandfathered in, what are we looking at there? I mean, it's,
Robert, do you wanna speak to this? Cause I could guess, but.
Minimum life safety, having working commodes, running water heater, openable windows, doors, smoke detectors.
well, that's how we'd have to get it like that to be rentable.
The electrical wouldn't have to be redone, I mean,
Unless it was an obvious hazard, but just the service, it's not a threat to,
Yes, sir.
then no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would do that anyway.
Just to
It's
get
liability reasons.
All right, so I'm hearing you say that you could do this within 30 days. We wouldn't have to even write into it an extension. You could ask for one later if
Mhm.
necessary.
Yeah, I shouldn't have a problem with that.
All right.
I mean, we're already
You're already working on
Yes,
it
sir.
today. Okay, any other questions for Mr.
Just so I'm
Gibbs?
clear, that there is plumbing to the house, they just refuse to use it.
Yeah, they're just squatters that, you know, don't wanna put up a deposit and go pay for the water and everything. You know, I don't know what they do, to be honest with you. But there's no I mean, there is service. I mean, it's got the water tap, you know, it's city sewer and water. It's on Cage Street. They just don't pay, they don't pay the rent, much less the water bill.
It's out of my area of expertise, Jeremy. What happens with squatters? I mean,
I can tell you.
I know it's, you know what, I mean,
But this particular order, if we issue this order and it is signed to vacate, and it is in this order, and I was gonna highlight a couple of things, but it would allow the, peace officer to enforce the
Okay.
order to vacate. And where you're talking about squatters, a little more, there's some more legal stuff to get a squatter out. This order would allow us to make sure the property is vacated.
Yes, cause I didn't have couldn't get any assistance from the police officers before.
okay. It just seems like that's what we would need to do, is just have the weight of an order that's backed by the city that says he will the city will assist you in this dilemma.
Well, actually, when it was nice, I had it rented out, and that lady goes to move in and has a signed contract and deposit paid, and there's squatters in there. And she calls me and tells me somebody's in her house, and then so I go over there, and they've already got tinfoil on the windows, and you know, and the doors are they've actually ripped the framing off of a door going to a bedroom and nailed it across the front door as like a barricade, and so. My key, you know, even though it unlocked, it wouldn't open the door. So I was trying to kick it in, and they came walking up the street, and they started yelling at me. There was 5 or 6 little kids tagging behind them, and 2 ladies, and this guy, and this. They started yelling at me for kicking their door in. I said, "I'm kicking my door in, not y'all's door." And then they'd already had their electricity transferred over, and so then I told them I was calling the police, and she told me she'd already called the police. So the police come, and they tell me that, and I was going to throw their stuff out, and they just kind of walk in the door, more or less tell me I couldn't come in, is what the police say, and then I told them I was going to throw their stuff out on the street, and the police said, "No, you're not. They can sue you, and they can sue us." And so I mean, I don't know if he said you can't do it. They're looking for the lawsuit. I don't know if he could sue them, but he said I'd get sued. So they said, "We know these people. We deal with them all the time." And so I was just furious, you know. And so I asked him. He told me about the eviction. You know, I had to go through the eviction process, and you know, of course, that puts a 3-day notice. And I go 3rd day and tell that. I said, "Hey, y'all need to be out of here." And she said, "You need to have the constable deliver that." That's what the squatter tells me. Of course, I found out I didn't have to, but anyway, so I go pay $121, you know, and anyway, long story short, it's 30, we got to wait on a court date for that. Then you get at that point in time, you go to court. So then I asked the judge, you know, when can I get, so I can go ahead and get my stuff, get their stuff out if they're not going to do it themselves. And they'd already called the police on me one other time and had me put a restraining order and remove me from the property. And I just asked the officer if he would tell them to quit smoking in the house. And a dog was taking using the bathroom right in front of us in the house. They had pit bulls, and they locked their kids out of the house, not in the house. And so anyway, it was just a wreck to begin with. So then they asked me to leave. They told me I couldn't come on the property. And they have squatters' rights. I mean, I learned a lot from that deal. But anyway, it's. Then I asked the judge if I could go ahead and get my stuff out, and she said, and that lady just answered for the judge, said, "Well, we still have 10 days. And I looked at the judge, she said, "Well, they do have a grace period." And it was like I don't know, it was 10 business days or 1 week or whatever, but it was around 10 days. So I had to wait like another 2 weeks. You know, you're talking a 2-month process. So, you know, I was begging for help.
Jeremy, where in the order does it say that the city would offer support through a peace officer or whatever to help vacate?
You have the order right here next to you. That
Oh, okay, all right.
is the last right before the
Okay.
signature.
Yeah, it wasn't in the packet. Yeah.
No, keep going.
No,
On the
no, I
next
just
page.
want to read this. Okay.
And I'm one copy short, so Devin's without it. You want to look at that too? You don't want to do that. Why would you just leave it in place?
All right. So the very last paragraph of this order says, "It is further ordered that any peace officer, including the Stephenville Police Chief, hereby has the authority to enforce and carry out the herein stated orders and directives." The problem with that is it sounds to me like it's geared more toward Mr. Garrison making sure that as opposed to all the concomitant issues regarding this not vacation, but, do you know what I mean? But you're saying this last sentence is not just protecting, it's not just protecting the city, but it's also helping Mr. Garrison with those other issues.
Because anybody that is not in compliance with this order would be trespassing.
Okay.
So
Well, you know, you can say what you want to. I mean, I went to the police and they told me the only person that could help me is the constable. So I go to the constable. He tells me to go through the process. Then I go over there and put another eviction notice on the door. And I was in a U-Haul because I was helping some people move. And I promise you, I did not back into their car, but for, whatever reason, a week later, I got a warrant for my arrest. They take me to jail on felony charges because they said the retarded son in the house tells the dad that I backed into their U-Haul. Now I've got pictures of it, and the dent's not the size of the taillight that it's next to, and there's no way that the U-Haul could even reach that. It didn't happen. I didn't do it. Even if I would have done it, it wasn't $2,500 to $30,000 in damage. The car wasn't worth $2,500. And so, so I got, I don't know. If you think I can go to the police and get help, I'd need direction, I guess.
Well, the police is gonna monitor the property, or if neighbors call the police and there's somebody at that property, they're gonna get them, they're gonna cite them for trespassing.
As far as,
Within the purview of this order now.
Right, if this order
Okay,
is
yeah.
issued, the PD will be
Okay, that
monitoring the
makes sense.
property, and if those squatters come back, then they will be trespassing according to this order, and the police have the authority to cite them or, I guess, press charges in that particular case.
Okay.
And Randy's here, and he helped write this order, so he's way more knowledgeable about it than I am, but with
They
all of
tell
our
me that
conversations.
Randy's their uncle. That's no lie. I mean, so
What? I guess.
Do you want to speak?
uh,
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, I know, I believe it, but just the same with their land.
Do we need an official genealogy from the city attorney? All right.
Is that all?
Thank you, Mr. Garrett.
You bet, Norman.
I'm
Good
sure
to-
it's very frustrating, so I appreciate it. But what I want to make sure is that I'm understanding this order is not just a punitive measure against Mr. Garrison. It sounds like it's to help you do what we need you to do, which is to have the property vacated, secured, and repaired so that it's rentable, which is good for you and good for the city. So that's what it sounds like. Within this legal description anyway of the situation, or within this public hearing case number, BSC 2018-002. Are there any other people from the community who need to address this or want to? Okay, well, let's close this.
Does Mr.
I'd
Turk
like
have
Public
anything
hearing.
else to
Mr.
add?
Turk,
Does he have anything else?
Oh, sure, Mr. Turk.
I mean,
Yeah.
I at least have some questions for you.
Okay.
So I guess, obviously, your approach is based on viewing from outside.
Correct.
I guess it's just public talking about the grandfathered codes and what they have to meet. I mean, you're not talking about ripping out all the electrical, and obviously if there's some outlet or there's a wire that's out that needs to be fixed, but we're not talking about redoing all the plumbing and all the electrical and things like that.
Right, right, unless we get in there and the plumbing is totally destroyed, I don't know, I haven't been inside the building, but
Which it may be, I mean, we still water.
it has to have working, restroom facilities, hot water, yeah, just, anything that has to do with life safety, it has to be, brought up to minimum standards.
Okay. I mean, and this may not be a question for you, I know you have some experience with it, but this may be a question for Randy or Jeremy. So I mean, if a homeowner is sitting here saying, I don't have any problem with you coming in
Mhm.
and looking at everything, is this a necessary measure to even take? I mean, because there are civil penalties, besides the fact that it may actually be beneficial to the homeowner, but is there something else, I mean, is it even needed to come in and say, we need an order saying it's a dangerous property, and like, y'all have to come in and do this and.
Well,
restrict
one
all
of the
this
biggest
time
parts
period?
of it, the nuisance part of it, is that, of course, with the neighbors, and then, we still hear to this day that these people come back in the middle of the night. So the order to vacate under a nuisance, I think, needs to remain personally.
Okay.
That just gives me protection to protect the squatters from coming back, correct?
Right.
Correct. Okay.
Any, Devin, Carrie, you have a question for Mr. Turk?
Nope.
I think so.
Thank you very much. Okay. Well, I'll close the public hearing of the Building and Standards Commission, and so do I hear a motion from the Building and Standards Commission?
I'll move.
Thank
I move to declare an order for case number BSC 2018-002, property at 1206 Cage, for the property to be vacated, secured, repaired, or demolished within 30 days by the property owner. Is that sufficient?
And I would maybe add in accordance with the final judgment and order that was presented to us, like, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So with the final judgment and order enforced.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Devin. Well, any discussion among the board? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? All right, so it's unanimous, and do I need to sign, will I be the one signing
Yes.
this?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Very good. Well then, I'm gonna go ahead and move that we adjourn. I don't think we have to even vote on that. All right, thank you.
You want to give a motion a second shot?
I'm done. I made the first motion.